And finally tonight, President Trump has a vacancy to fill after the White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn stepped down. His resignation comes amid reports that he discussed U.S. sanctions on Russia with the Russian ambassador to the United States prior to the president taking office. Now, some Republicans are warming up to the idea of a Flynn investigation. And of course, calling it a Flynn investigation, I think, understates what's going on here. I think there is an increased appetite to figure out what the relationship is. What is the real relationship between Donald Trump and the people around him and the Russian government?
And bigger than that, I mean, what is the role in Russia in meddling in our government and in our elections? That's what Mitch McConnell said the other day. He said, we don't want a Michael Flynn investigation. We want a Russia investigation of all of these allegations. We've got to settle and put this Russia business to rest. We've got to know exactly what happened so that we can have, so that people can have trust and put an end to, a lot of the conspiracy theories, or, verify them. I don't know what's true or what's not, but I think we need to do two things. We need to find out the role of members of the Trump campaign and others in working with Russia. It's inappropriate, it's unacceptable, whether you're from the right to left. We also have to figure out what's going on in the intelligence community, because you cannot have your intelligence community spying on private citizens and then leaking the information to destroy their careers. That's a police state. We can't have that either.
I feel like the intelligence community is in a really weird spot, okay? So their job is to keep track of all of these kinds of machinations, whether they involve private citizens or government operatives. Their job is also, though, to keep that information secret for national security purposes. But when the things that people are doing who are inside the government also seem to implicate or threaten national security, if you're in the intelligence community, I mean, it's sort of a mind scramble. What's the proper role for making sure that you're doing your job?
Well, I think that's assigning him too much credit. I think in this case, you had a community at odds with the administration,
well, that's not helping, right?
New president, and went rogue. And it's not the first time the intelligence community has been increasingly going rogue over the last decade or so. That community's got to be brought into line.
But who gets to do that? I mean, how do you do that if they have no faith in the president, which they clearly don't? Who's the person who whips that into shape?
Well, I mean, the president has to. He's got to put people in place, and the new director of the CIA and other intelligence officials have to go through that agency and root out subversives. That's not their role, and it's not appropriate, and you absolutely cannot spy on private American citizens without a warrant. And I haven't seen a warrant in this case.
I mean, that's some of the unknown here. How did they get to the place where they were spying, and were there others, right? Were they listening to other conversations?
Did they listen to?
I suspect that this was part of a pretty major operation that involved not just Flynn, but several other people in this administration, and trying to figure out what role they were playing.
So did they go to the
FISA court, right?
And if they didn't, then we need to know.
Then a lot of people are in trouble there too. Exactly. I have a hard time imagining who would take this job as national security advisor at this point, given that tension that we were just talking about, that the intelligence community is not wild about this administration, and the administration not wild about the internal.
Somebody will take it. I mean, it's an important job, and people want to serve their country, and so I think it'll be filled, and hopefully we can move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, moving on is something I think we're not going to be able to do anytime soon, and part of that is the president's fault. I mean, like Nixon, and there aren't a number of parallels to this, but like Nixon, he'd been very slow at divulging things that would probably wipe all this away.
And so, I think he's got to end the chaos in his administration. We've got to get moving. He's got to end the chaos. The Democrats have got to end their resistance, and we've got to start moving on behalf of this country. We're going to be in trouble.
All right, that's it for MiWeek. Thanks for spending time with us. Check out MiWeek.org and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Christy will be back next week. We'll see you next time.